Hello, happy Monday morning. I'm going to do a quick live where I'm going to talk about one of my clients' success stories who got married. So I'm going to talk about one now. I'm going to talk about two success stories that I've had recently. One about getting married. I posted it, but I haven't really kind of given you guys some details. And then I'm going to talk about another one. They're two very different success stories, and that's why I wanted to share them with you guys to kind of inspire you and also to point out that not everyone's journey is going to be the same. That no matter what the moral of the story is, we're getting exactly what we want and we're creating our reality. So the one that I'm going to talk about now is my client who got married to her SP. And this was it just made me so happy. Like I said, I felt like it was like my sister or someone I'd known my entire life that got married when I found out, because I was so happy for this woman. For those of you who know or don't know, I do group coaching. So I started in December doing group coaching. Thank you for the roses. In December, I just started doing I decided to start doing group coaching because I had to take a little sip. Sorry, hang on. I decided to do group coaching. Initially, my idea in November was I'm going to do a group to help kind of like bring men and women, which ended up being mostly women, together to have that support through the holidays, to learn their power, to not let not being with their person in the third dimensional reality affect them for the holidays. So that was my initial goal. So I had initially said, okay, I'm going to keep my group small. So I keep it very small and I close it when it gets to a certain number. So initially it was only going to be a 4-week thing. And I had signed up enough people, the amount of people that I wanted for Sunday. And this particular client who ended up marrying her SP didn't make it in time. Like, she had contacted me later when the Sunday group was full. So she was like really bummed out, and she was like, at this point in my life, circumstances are happening, and I'm going to keep her details as discreet as possible, because she's okay with me sharing her success story, and she's excited about inspiring others, but she also wants to keep like details private. So I'm going to be discreet as possible. But this particular client, because of the events that had unfolded as a result of the breakup, she couldn't at the time afford one-to-one coaching. So she was like, I really wanted to join the group because I made it for a more affordable price. And she asked me to do a Saturday group. So she was the reason why I did a Saturday group. So for the month of December, I had a Saturday and Sunday group coaching. Now the Saturday group, I kept it really, really small. It was, I think like, I capped it at like 8 people, but for the most part, it was only like three to 4 people showing up consistently, and she was one of them. So I got to work with her for the month of December, and then when January came, I moved the girls from Saturday to Sunday, and I made it one group. So I did 3 months of group coaching with her, okay? And 3 months of group coaching. Now, the first 2 months, and by the way, guys, they lived in 2 different countries, and she was very upset because the country that she was in with her SP is the country that she wanted to be in. And when they separated, she had to go back to a country. Again, I'm not going to give details, but she was unhappy in. And that was like a huge, she'd bring that up all the time to me. Like, it's so hard for me every day, right? It's so hard for me. I'm here and I don't want to be here. I'm lonely here. It was the winter. It was cold. It was getting dark early. And that is why I tell you guys that you don't have to be in this happy all the time. You don't have to be believing. You don't have to be like in this high vibration all the time to get your manifestation. This woman, for the first 2 months of the group, was not happy. She was going through a hard time. And sometimes part of these big shifts, right, these big shifts in our state of consciousness, we can go through the rough and lonely times. I know I went through it, and I know every single person that I've worked with, other coaches I'm friends with, we all have gone through it. And I think it's part of the ascension process. But anyways, so the first 2 months, she was very focused on circumstances, and it was really hard for her to understand everyone is you pushed out. And it was hard for her to understand that he could actually change. So for the first 2 months, she was, she would tell me week after week, it's just so hard for me to see him as different. And I would just tell her kind of the same thing every week. Things that I do is I would have a different theme every week. So she kind of went through that. But moral of the story is the theme of the week was shifting states, utilizing consciously law of assumption. Acting as if, also known as assuming that you already have your desire. It's already done. You already are experiencing it in your reality, right? And if we have to unlearn what we are previously programmed to learn in the 3D. So some people get it right away. Other people, it takes them a little bit longer, right? But again, you don't have to believe it in the beginning. No one does, right? I always say, don't take my word for it. Test it yourself. So for the first 2 months, it was hard for her. She was depressed. By the third month, she started to get to a place where all of a sudden it clicked. And I know for me and for a lot of people that I've worked with, that's usually what happens. You can hear something 1,000 times. And I even see it with my clients. My clients will come to me like 6 months later and be like, yeah, and I heard this and now I've been doing that. And I'll tell them, that's what I told you the first day I met you 6 months ago. But I totally get it, because if you're not ready to kind of like accept that, it's like we have these light bulb moments, at least me, throughout my spiritual journey. For example, I used to hear about the concept of time, and people would be like, time doesn't exist, time doesn't matter. And it would go in one ear and out the other. And then all of a sudden one day I'm listening to an audio and I was like, oh my God, I get it. I get why time doesn't exist, right? I can now implement that in my 3D. I've shifted states. I understand it. And it was just like over and over again. Now I say it in my mind over and over and over and over again. So anyways, we have some weird, we do need a moderator. Guys, I need to revamp. I need a woman. No offense to the guys. Unless I know you, I'm not going to make a male a moderator. But we have some wild people in the chat right now. Who wants to mod? Any of the ladies here want to mod? I would really appreciate it. Maria, all right, I'm going to make you a mod, my love. Feel free to block, do whatever it takes. Oh, and you have a French bulldog. Oh my God, it says my number of moderators have reached a limit. How annoying. All right, Maria, I'm going to follow you so I can make you a mod. And then when I figure this out, I'll add you. I gotta remove some mods because supposedly I'm at the max limit and TikTok won't let me. So when we're done, Maria, thank you, my love. I truly appreciate you. And thank you, Raven. If you're in here a lot, Raven, I'll make you a mod too. Just comment or let me know, okay, my love? Okay, so anyways, by the third month, she was like, for the first time in this journey, and by the time I met her, they had been broken up for roughly 4 months. Okay, so 2 months into coaching, we're at about 6 months. So by the third month, so around the 7th month, and this is why I say time doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. She finally had that shift, and she was like, she finally realized that it's not about him, it's about her. And if she ever wants to see any changes in her reality, she has to start making the changes within, and it will then in turn get reflected in the out, right? In the external 3D. So she literally was like, for the first time in this journey, I feel so good about myself. I feel powerful. Most of my my state of consciousness is really revolving around me and how amazing I am. And of course, I had her doing things on the side like revision, and of course seeing him as the version that she wanted, assuming him to be present and respectful and nice and kind and loyal and all of the things that we want in relationships, right? And because she lived in a different country, she was many hours ahead of me in time. And she was like, I'm going to take the next month off because I want to continue to focus on myself. And it's really late where she was at. She was like, after a month, I'm going to come back to the group. But we stayed in touch. I'm not kidding you guys. Within days of her saying that to me, he reached out. And when he first reached out, it was like a BS excuse. And I knew it was BS. And she was so nervous, she was shaking. And we have like a group chat. So she privately messaged me in the morning. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning in New York. And I called her back and I was like, go to your internal reality first. You have the power and control. Put your hand on your heart. Talk to him first. And when you feel calm, you can call him back. So we calmed her down. It only took her, guys, we can do that like this. 5 minutes. She's like, all right, I'm going to call him back. She called him back. The text that I got from her after they hung up was, and I wish I could, like I said, I only post the details that if people want to keep it discreet, even if someone didn't want to keep it discreet, I just wouldn't feel comfortable posting screenshots of what other men said to my clients or whatever, you know. But I saw text messages that he had said to her, and as well as the text that she said to me was word for word. He said everything I wanted to hear and more. And but lo and behold, guys, look at the backstory behind that. She could not see him to be different, and that quickly he shifted into the reality where he was now showing up to everything she wanted plus more. Now, to give you guys even more information behind that, even better details behind that, was he had told her that he was planning on reaching out to her. I think it was like 2 months. So during the time where she was saying to me and the other group members, I just can't see him changing. It's hard for me. But she was doing the work, right? She was in the group every week and she was doing the work. Even though she didn't believe it, even though she felt hopeless, she was doing the work. And guess who was all the way in another country getting the pings? Law of thought transmission, and he was thinking about her. So much so that him and his mom were talking about going to her country and apologizing to her family. She had no idea. Absolutely no idea. And the best part of this story was that she sent a message to the group after. So she wanted like me to break the news to the group first, because she was just so in shock about it when it first happened. And she told them, you know, he told me that he was thinking about reaching out to me like for the past 2 months. And she was like, you know, at that time I wasn't in a good headspace at all, but now I am. So I'm so grateful for the way that it unfolded in my favor, because if he would have reached out 2 months ago or a month ago even, she may have handled the situation completely different and not felt worthy at that point, and then maybe would have tapped into the old programming, and then who knows, right? But moral of the story is, it happened exactly how it should have happened and when it should have happened in this third dimensional plane. And that's what I want you guys to keep in mind when you're focusing on time. Okay, time does not exist. If you are persisting in a state, whether you think there's movement going on behind the scenes, whether you think they're conforming or not, no matter what your 3D is showing you, if you persist, it is spiritual law. It's always worked this way and it always will work this way. They have to conform and they do not have a choice. So, okay, now that was like, I want to say, don't quote me with times. So that was around February, March-ish. Okay, probably more closer to February. Now, she kind of went off the grid on me for a little bit, and I kind of like after that stopped hearing from her. She was part of the group chat and we were texting in it, and she wasn't responding, which is fine. I get it. Like, she was living her life, right? Doing her thing. All of a sudden, I think it was 2 weekends ago whenever I posted it, we get in the group chat, and all my group coaching girls that are in the chat can attest to this, bombarded with wedding photos from her. They decided to get married, and she looked absolutely glowing, beautiful, stunning. He looked happy. They're a gorgeous couple. The photos were gorgeous. It was the first time I've ever had a client get married, and to see it shift, for those of you who have been listening from start to finish, from December. Hi Mira, how are you, my love? Thank you for the roses. But to see it shift from December to April that quickly, guys, how much more motivation do you need? And even one of the girls in the group, so I told you that I had a Saturday and a Sunday group. Even the girls from the Saturday group was like, oh my God, like she used to come on, like she was super depressed with like dim lighting in the back. And if she would have known back in December that by April they'd be married, I guarantee you she would not have been depressed. She wouldn't have felt hopeless. She would have continued to turn the focus inward and worked on herself, knowing that he was going to conform all along and that she had nothing to fear. So if you guys are listening and you're sitting around depressed thinking that they're never going to conform, or you're not seeing movement, or you're hopeless and you just don't think you're ever going to get what you want, I'm telling you, you will get exactly what you want if you continue to persist as if you have it already and remain faithful to that until it manifests in this third dimensional reality. That is law of assumption. That is spiritual law, and it's always happening. There's no space of when it stops, and there's no separation. Okay, that's just the way that it is. So I just wanted to come on here and share that with you guys. I'm going to come on later, either today or tomorrow, and talk about another success story that I had yesterday. The one that I had from yesterday is someone who I've done many one-to-ones with for the past year, and she also joined my group. So I'm going to give you her success story. It's a lot different than this one, but the purpose of me sharing these success stories with you guys and giving you guys details behind the scenes is so that you know that not everyone's story is going to, or end is the same. Right? Your journey is unique to you, but the only thing that we all have in common is the fact that we're controlling our reality and we're always getting what we want. Okay, so I don't want you guys looking at other people and saying, oh, they got theirs in 2 months and it's been a year for me. No, you already have it in the quantum field, and you just trust and persist that it's going to unfold at perfect timing for you. Okay, I promise you. Okay? Promise you. I've seen it enough. I've posted enough success stories, and I've experienced it enough myself to confidently tell you without a doubt. If you practice consciously utilizing spiritual law, also known as law of assumption, you will be getting exactly what you want every single time. So if you guys want coaching with me, quantumleapdream.com, or email me at quantumleapdream@gmail.com, or you can DM me at sharebear0711. Love you guys. Have a beautiful day.